If you are nervous or hesitant to start investing your money, then this is a video you're going to want to watch. Maybe you've been telling yourself, I don't earn enough yet, or I'll start when I understand it better. Or even, it's too late for me to start investing. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to break down all the most common reasons that people delay investing, and I'll show you exactly when the best time to start investing really is. By the end of this video, you'll not only know when to start investing, but you'll actually have some proven reasons backed by the facts, as well as the best authors on money. Hi, I'm Dahlia. I'm a finance grad who worked in asset management and sales in the City of London for 7 years, and then quit it all to start my own business. I have learned a lot along the way. Now I am taking you along on the journey, sharing the money, business, and property tips that I've learned to help you get on top financially. Let's go. So I want to start with the biggest reason that people hesitate to start investing. And that is that they say, I'll start investing once I have enough money. Look, I get it. Investing can sound like something that only wealthy people can do, but that's actually the opposite of how you build wealth. Let's talk about the most powerful force in investing, compounding. Einstein supposedly called compounding the eighth wonder of the world because your money doesn't just earn returns, it earns returns on those returns. So I'm going to start with a simple numerical example. So let's take person A and person B. Person A starts investing $200 a month at the age of 25, while person B waits until they're 35 years old, so just a 10-year difference, and they also invest $200 a month. Now let's assume that they both earn an average return of 7% a year, which is what an index fund typically returns. So by the time they're 65, person A will have around $480,000, but person B, who started only 10 years later, only has $240,000. That is a 10-year difference that has halved their future wealth, even though they both invested the same monthly amount. That's the power of compounding and the cost of waiting. So it's not about how much you start with, it's about how long that your money has to grow. Even $20 or $50 a month matters because you're not just building your balance, you're building the habit of investing. The next reason that people delay investing is that they're waiting for the right time to invest. Maybe this is you right now. Maybe you're watching the markets and you've heard about this AI bubble. AI stocks are really high at the moment. Maybe I should wait until that is over because I might end up losing all my money. You might be concerned about changing interest rates. Maybe you should wait until things calm down. But here's the thing, there is always going to be uncertainty. In the book Psychology of Money, which is one of my favorites, the author Morgan Housel puts this perfectly. Every past market crash looks like an opportunity and every future one looks like a risk. We always think that now is going to be different, but history has shown that markets rise, fall, and recover over and over and over again. The other thing that history shows is that future world events are unpredictable. No one could have predicted the COVID pandemic, the 2008 market crash, or the dot-com bubble. The only certainty about the markets is that they are uncertain, so there is never a perfect time. In fact, there's even research that shows that if you missed only the 10 best days in the stock market over a 20-year period, your returns would be halved. So what is the solution? Don't try and time the market, just give it time. Even the most experienced fund managers who do this for a living are not able to accurately time the market, and their returns are often the same or less than the index funds that they are supposed to be beating. The key is to invest regularly through monthly contributions and let consistency do the heavy lifting for you. When you invest bit by bit over time, you naturally are going to end up buying into the market at different prices, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, but on average, you're going to end up smoothing out the ups and downs of the market. You will never find the perfect time. The best time is simply when you start. Now let's talk about another big reason that people hesitate to start investing, and that is that they say that they'll start when they feel ready. The truth is that that day may never come because there's always going to be another reason to delay. Maybe you want to clear some debt first. Maybe you're saving for a holiday. Maybe you've had a baby and the expenses that come with that are way higher than you expected. Maybe you just feel too unsure about where to even start. But here's the secret that all experienced investors know. You don't need to start big, you just need to start. Even if you can only afford to put aside $10 or $20, what matters is building the habit of investing, not waiting for the perfect moment that may never arrive. Life is full of ups and downs. How do you know when it's going to be steady enough for you to start? Every single great investor that you've ever heard of started off small. They didn't wait until they could afford it, they just started. I really love the anecdote that Morgan Housel says in the book, The Psychology of Money, about the janitor who retired at age 92, and then they found out that he was actually a multimillionaire. So even on his small janitor's salary, he had been spending frugally and putting aside a small portion of his paycheck every month throughout his entire life. And the compounding turned that small amount into millions. He actually retired a very wealthy man, and no one knew about it. Investing isn't about waiting for the confidence. It's about starting with small habits that snowball over time. Next up is feeling like you are too old to start investing because you didn't start in your 20s or 30s. And honestly, out of all of the reasons to not start, this one is the worst because regret is completely useless when it comes to investing. Looking back at all the things that you could or should have been doing is not going to grow your money now, but looking forward can. If you're in your 30s or 40s or even your 50s, you still have time to make a difference to your future self. Look, you don't have the same time horizon as someone in their 20s. However, you probably do have a little bit more income and stability than you did in your 20s, and that is a huge advantage. So instead, look forward to the next 15 to 20 years and see just how much of a difference you can make to your future self. Having potentially more income than you did in your 20s, you may be able to put aside larger amounts of money now and still feel the benefits of compounding by contributing more. Let's say you're 45 years old and you can invest $500 a month until the age of 65, earning that same 7% return. You're still going to end up with about $250,000. So those results are not going to happen overnight, but that amount of money could completely change your retirement plans, give you peace of mind, and give you more options in your future. So instead of wishing that you started earlier, look at what you can do now for your future self, because future you is going to thank you for starting today. Lastly, one of the reasons that you might be delaying starting investing is that you think that you don't know enough about it. This one's really easy to fix because the truth is you don't need to know everything. In fact, trying to pick individual stocks without experience can actually hurt your returns. Most of the stock market's long-term growth comes from a tiny percentage of companies. Out of the thousands and thousands of companies listed on the stock market, there are only a small few that truly drive the market's performance. If you're starting out by trying to pick stocks, there's a really high probability that a lot of the companies that you might pick could actually fail and go to zero. The probability of even big companies failing is still quite high. Think of General Electric or the banking crisis in 2008. So what is a normal person who's not trained in analyzing companies and stocks to do? The best option is to invest in index funds. Index funds are a basket of companies that track an index like the S&P 500, for example, which is the 500 largest companies in the USA. Investing in an index that tracks the market like the S&P 500 or a global index gives you instant diversification and steady long-term exposure to global growth. They are low cost, they're simple, and they don't need you to spend hours studying charts or company reports. You don't have to be an expert to get started, you just have to start and let time and compounding do the heavy lifting for you. I have a separate video on my channel about what funds are in my portfolio, as well as another one that I've made on getting started investing in a stocks and shares ISA in the most simple way. That is the UK equivalent of the Roth IRA. So if you're wondering about how to get started, have a look at both of those videos where I explain how I did it. So the answer that you've been waiting for, when is the best time to start investing? The answer is the best time was yesterday, but the second best time is right now. Every day that you wait, is another day that your money could have been growing for you. You absolutely don't need to start perfectly and you don't need to start big. You just need to start. So if you've been hesitating, let this video be your sign. Open that investment account, start with whatever amount you can and build the habit, because the sooner you start, the sooner your money starts working for you. Thanks for watching Get On Top with Dahlia. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe and share this video with someone who's been waiting for the right time to invest. And remember, the best investment that you'll ever make is in your future self. Thanks for watching Get On Top and see you next time. Ciao for now.